We're here with Ben Kaufmann of Yonder Mountain String Band. Going to appear tonight in York, Pennsylvania at the Capitol Theater. And last night of the tour, what does that mean, and what does that?
It's like you've entered a space where there's physical fatigue. That sort of is just sort of like the normal experience at this point. I guess the way that I describe it is after a certain number of days on the road, especially near the end of the tour, your vital resources sort of go to few places. Your fingers have to work, your mind still has to work, and then everything else is sort of, it turns on the event of an emergency. Some really creative spaces can happen though at that time. I don't know why. Maybe because you're just not overthinking things, or you don't have the energy to sort of worry about extraneous stuff. So it sort of it can be interesting musically.
Now this is, in part, this tour has been kind of a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Elevation, and you're releasing the vinyl version of that.
Yep.
But also, that with everything that's happened in the past year with Jeff and everything, has it been a really kind of a draining tour in some ways, or?
No, that we're still processing Jeff's death, and that's something that I've never experienced. Experienced anything like this, and still find myself having moments of certainly swings of emotion, moments where I still feel shocked, and then the only other person I've ever really lost in my life that had such a powerful relationship with, my father, and then Jeff, and in terms of people that I knew for a very long period of time. The only thing that I learned from grieving my father's passing was that it takes time, and it's never it never becomes okay, but something happens with the passage of time where you incorporate the loss into your life somehow. I don't know, I'm still processing it. But I have been listening to a lot of the old music that we made, and appreciating it in a way that maybe I hadn't before.
And 20 years as a band, that's a long time for a band to be together.
Yeah.
How have things changed? How's the band changed? How's the road changed for the band?
Well, back when we started, it was, just thinking that we were really the only example of a band that looked like us, trying, bluegrass, but performing it in rock and roll clubs, showing up at like jam band festivals, and you flash forward 20 years, and if I thought about it, I could probably name you 30 bands that fit into that genre, like sort of similar to what we're doing. So there's a lot more contemporaries for us 20 years into it. Tour, it's very much the same though. It's interesting when someone asks, like someone who doesn't ride the tour bus for a living, right? And they're like, oh hey, how's it going? Tell me what's it like? It's really, the show is the exciting thing. Maybe you're in a place where you can go do something cool or see something cool, but generally it's, you show up in a new town, you figure out where you're going to take a shower, you figure out where you're going to eat, and then it's a whole lot of sitting around until the show. And that's where the excitement happens, in theory, on a good night anyway. But otherwise it's very sort of routine, and I'll often catch myself checking in at home. My son will say, oh, tell me the story of your day. What did you do? And I'm like, well, gosh, not a whole heck of a lot. We haven't played the show yet. We're just sort of chilling. God, sorry, kiddo. I feel feel like I'm boring.
So the end of the tour. How many dates this year? How many?
I think we're looking around 110.
Right. And Strings and Soul coming up, and then anything else the end of the year?
We'll do a New Year's run of shows in Colorado. So 2 shows in Boulder, then moving up into the mountains for a show, I believe, in Breckenridge, and then New Year's Eve in Aspen, Colorado.
And what's coming in the new year? Any new music? It's been a while since Love Ain't Love.
Yep, we've got 2. I think we'll probably release them as EPs. There's probably 7 songs on each of them, but thematically they're very different. So one of them is original music, Yonder music, and the other one we wanted to do something different. So it's our take on like a punk rock or metal, even heavy metal material. Some original tunes, some covers, but stylistically they're so different that we didn't feel like couldn't see it making a record that made sense, like an actual album. So we're going to split them up and release them as 2 different things, and then after that, we're thinking about writing, getting together for a brief period, like a week or whatever, and writing to a theme. We've never done that before, picking an actual topic or theme, and writing an album to that. We've got some ideas, and certainly in light of this year and everything that's happened, I've been thinking a lot about mental health, and the perspective that we have as touring musicians, and some of us, very sensitive people who have seen, witnessed or dealt with mental health issues our whole lives. So trying to figure out a way to, communicate our questions or our fears or any answer we may have to this, to this issue. I think that would be I think now is the time to be thinking about that and writing about that. My opinion.
And any big announcements for New Year as far as any big festivals or anything that you can tell us yet?
Nothing that I know of yet that's announced. I'd have to look. Honestly, I've been so hyper focused with this year. I haven't really started looking too far ahead into next year. I'm just bringing my energy into, as we move into winter. I sort of become a little bit more introverted than I usually am. So that's kind of been where my energy is going, focusing on, finishing this tour strong, going to Mexico, and really wanting to enjoy that experience, the warmth and the water and all of our friends, and then New Year's, and there's sort of like, start fresh in 20. What's it going to be? 2020. How did that happen?
All right, Ben Kaufmann, Yonder Mountain String Band, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and look forward to the set tonight.